Curious, Joe, is the reason your mom doesn't have a relationship with Meri the same reason you don't have a relationship with Meri? Don't answer if you don't want to. I'm not trying to offend, Joe. That's not an offensive question. That's pure curiosity. I know that it's probably partly because of the same reason I don't have a relationship with Meri, but my mom's other reasons and motives are also her own. For reasons of doesn't concern me, she hasn't shared all her feelings towards Meri or her other sister wives with me because it doesn't concern me with everything, But I know that at least some of it is the same.
Hey everyone, it's Kody from Without a Crystal Ball. Welcome back to my channel. It is Thursday, February 8th, 2024. I hope everyone's having a wonderful day. My dog Frida's back. You can't see her, but she's knocked all the pillows off. Yesterday you met Charlie, today it's Frida, and she's sleeping. I did a video yesterday, a couple of videos about sister wives, and I had to bring this up because someone in my comments said that I needed to go check out Mykelti's latest Patreon because she brought up all kinds of things about Meri, spilling the tea. And she did spill some tea, although not a lot of tea, but a little bit of tea. And I also realized she really doesn't actually know a whole lot about what's going on in her siblings' life because multiple times in one of her recent Patreons, she insisted that Leon and Audrey are not married, and she kept saying that they are engaged, even though they are legally married, and it's been posted and published, and the marriage records were found by, I believe, the son. They're married. So I don't know how much she actually talks to Leon, or else Leon's just not telling people. But Mykelti doesn't know that Leon is married. So Mykelti and Tony were doing what they do on their Patreon, answering questions and talking about the family and doing all the things. And they brought up some details about Robyn and how much Robyn hates doing this kind of work. Yeah, she doesn't like to film. And apparently Robyn hates it, hates her job. And apparently Christine and Meri don't like each other because of what Meri did to Mykelti and some other undisclosed reasons. So let's dive into this topic. Yesterday, I asked for all of you that aren't subscribed to please subscribe. And I had a goal of 365,000 and I'm pretty close to it. And I would love to get your help. And as always, I'm always looking for all of you that are watching every single day to please consider becoming a subscriber. It's totally free. So let's dive into their reactions.
Okay. And then someone else without a crystal ball will react to our reaction of their reaction of themselves on the show and then gossip about it.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
See, I wasn't lying. That was like within the first 11 minutes of the show. Tony brought my name up. They bring up my name a lot. They think I'm going to react to everything, and I'm really not. Just want to put that out there. I haven't watched one of her Patreons in a month, but I got this one. So here, let's talk about this one. Tony, you wanted me to react. Well, let's react to the stuff that's worth reacting to.
Just so you know, knowing Robyn, having to do this,
she hates,
is a nightmare for her.
Yeah, she hates this.
Her absolute worst thing that she hates is having to watch the episodes so that she can provide feedback. And then having to react to them and watch them again for something like this. The worst thing that they could ask her to do.
Yep.
For her.
Especially reading people's questions and stuff and having to react to other people's questions. Yeah. She hates stuff like this. So I'm not surprised that she looks pissed. Her RBF is on point.
Those are some very dramatic words to describe how Robyn feels about doing a job. I would like to remind everyone that a part of what they do on reality television is they film a scene, and then after, in the post filming and in the post edit, after they've done a first cut of the editing, then she has to react to it. That's been a part of her job since she started the show 18 seasons ago. Very early on, back in the day, she had no problem reacting to anything. Do you remember how snarky she used to get in those one-on-ones, or when she sat with all the wives and they watched and looked back at everything, and she would get a little bit sassy? Do you remember that? And now she's like super muted.
I don't think he should be saying 1 out of every 4 nights he spends time with Robyn. That's not fair to me. When they're married, she gets equal.
Disagree with it. I disagreed with it because of the fact that the courtship had to go for so long.
Christine, too, that, you know, there are just certain things.
Well, yeah. Like what? Like the thing?
Well, not the thing.
Okay.
No, once the wedding happens.
Well, it's probably a nightmare for her because a lot of what's happening is a product of her and Kody's behavior. Polygamy is set up to fail. I want to be completely honest. There's nothing about polygamy that is healthy. But because of this situation where he did pick a favorite and where she did not integrate as well as she could have, and because her coming into the family completely flipped the dynamics of what was going on, and because Kody just stopped caring, like most polygamous men do, she's being forced to look in the mirror. And it's hard to look in the mirror. And I'm sure it's hard for her to hear that people are upset with her. And in fairness, these ladies all said that it was okay for her to come into the family, allegedly. At least that's what they say. I'm sure Kody brought her in and there wasn't a lot of choice. But regardless of that, this is her job. So I was thinking about this. If this is a nightmare, and there's a lot of things that I can think of that are a nightmare that are not reacting to videos of myself or to my actions or to what other people say. I think part of the reason why she doesn't like doing this job is because, one, these are just my assumptions, and they said I do gossip, so these are my assumptions. One is because it forces her to look in the mirror. 2, it shatters her idea of what she thought this family was, which was her meal ticket. 3, she has to hear criticism, which she doesn't like. 4, she has to hear Kody yell, scream, and be a jerk to everyone. And he even says things about Robyn sometimes that aren't nice. 5, she's watching all of her money run away with all the wives leaving. But she has benefited greatly from this show. Who's the one that has a 4,500 square foot home that's worth, I guess, $2 million, $1.6 million in Flagstaff? Who has that house? Only Robyn.
Can't.
You know what I mean? It's really hard because this is your job. And if you hate your job and this is a nightmare for you, Robyn, quit your job. Don't come back after season 20 or 19 or whenever your contract is up. Just quit. If you don't like doing your job, then don't. And this is why she probably looks so annoyed, so mad, so angry, and it seems like upset. And the fact that she doesn't like to have to respond to fans' questions. If you don't like your audience and you don't like how your audience treats you, or you don't like the audience and the way that the audience sees you, you have a very easy vehicle to just quit your job. Or you could do some self-reflection and figure out what your role was in all of this, and try to figure out why don't people like you. And if it's because you're covering for Kody all the time and you are getting a bad edit and you aren't evil, then show people. But so far, people haven't seen a lot from her that's redeeming or even likable. And that's hard. So if she hates this, she can quit, but she can't quit because she likes to shop and they have a lot of money that they like to spend. This is not a nightmare at all. This is just a narcissist having to deal with the truth, and they don't like to deal with the truth. So of course she would just stomp off and have a panic attack and cry and escalate into hysterics. Of course she would, because then she doesn't have to deal with it. Christine said she was dramatic. I'd say she is.
It is clear she hates what she is doing. She is not hiding it well. It's true. It is quite obvious, but that's, yeah, like I'm telling you, this is like the worst thing they could have asked her to do in her mind.
Yeah.
Relating to the show.
Claire, if Robyn and Kody did hire a PR firm to help their image, then the PR firm sucks ass.
What would they even do, though? Even if they were amazing, what would they even do?
just help them talk on the show better.
Oh, that Sister Wives Closet isn't doing amazing?
They've never really killed the game, though. Claire,
Yeah.
I think that My Sister Wives Closet pays for itself. So, I mean, I think that. I don't know that. So, I think it ends up just being more of a hobby, something fun to kind
So
of...
Robyn really hates what she's doing. They spent quite a bit of time discussing whether or not Kody and Robyn have hired a PR company to help rehab their images. And it was pretty clear that neither one of them understood what PR companies do. She believed that PR comes in and helps people understand like how to speak in interviews better, or how to act better, or how to do news and media better, you know, like in your answers and how to portray yourself. But that's not what a damage control PR would do. And really what the point of damage control PR is to help rehab the image. And it could be as simple as flooding the system with positive stories about a person. So PR companies can have interviews set up for Kody, and he does positive interviews with outlets that will not push back. They can put out positive sound bites. They can try to like shape how he is viewed in the media by manipulating what they put out in the media about him, so that they can override all of the negative stories that are coming out about him. And that's a tactic that the Duggars PR team did when all the stuff was happening with Josh. So when Josh's stuff was happening, their PR team would be putting out propaganda that would distract people from the negative press. And that's what damage control emergency PR teams can do. It's not just about how you speak publicly, but it's also about the media and how to play the media and how to put out stories about you in the media. That's what they do. I don't know if they have hired one, frankly. I don't think that there's anything you could do at this point to rehab his image. Then after that, they spent quite a bit of time talking about how unsuccessful My Sister Wives Closet was, how they never made money and it was a hobby, which is kind of what Janelle and Robyn had arguments about very early on, about how she didn't see this as a long-term profitable option for the family. Go figure. At the end of this, once they get through the episode, they start talking about how Kody doesn't like to get he doesn't like certain questions to be asked to him, and that he will actually control the set and be kind of bombastic if they ask him something that he doesn't want to deal with. And apparently a lot of times when they're talking on the couch, they're actually asking them questions about what fans have said about them. And Robyn and Kody don't like that part.
Yeah, why does everybody ask about his hair?
Your dad was taking easy on it? Well, okay, it's within reason, right? They're not going to bring like Kody, why were you the scum of the earth, blah, 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 like, why...
They're not going to make him answer questions like that, because then he would just get mad and stop the talkbacks.
Right, like, within reason, like, the show knows what they're doing.
Wait, what? Jen said on Meri's Facebook that her question would be, sir, have you ever considered Rogaine?
Rogaine?
Rogaine, men's regrowth.
Oh, it's for hair loss. Ah.
That's awesome.
Well, now you know why I haven't searched up Rogaine yet.
That's awesome. Did the family, Meri, talk about the catfish stuff as much as it looks like on the show, or was that more because of how they edited it? Honestly, no. The catfish, like, after the first maybe year or two of it, the family never talked about it anymore. It's all just the show gets brought up again, basically, on the show, because they don't like to let dead horses just be able to get buried, die, and live on in the afterworld.
So we've just heard now that the reason why they have to be so soft with Kody and not ask him the hard questions is because he will not answer questions that he doesn't want to answer. And if he does get a question that he doesn't like, he will stomp off and stop production and stop filming. And if you are in the world of production and film is time, time is money. And when you have staff that are there to film and a production budget that's there, you can't have talent holding up filming, because then it's going to cost more money. So they have to navigate his willingness to answer questions with his cooperation with not upsetting him too much, so that he stomps off, stops production, and then they have to spend more money reshooting it or let him calm down. And so what we're learning here is that Robyn, to get out of things, will throw a temper tantrum and cry. So that's her way of controlling filming. And Kody's reaction to controlling filming, if he doesn't like something, is to yell, stomp off, and stop filming and stop production. It's manipulation. Listen, this is what they signed up for. Would I ever sign up for being on a reality show? Hell no. Hell no. But this is how they've chosen to make their money. This is the lifestyle that they've decided that they want to live. And if this is the lifestyle that they want to live, they have to live within those parameters. And if they don't like it anymore, if it's not fun for Kody, he said that he's ashamed of himself most of the time and Robyn hates it, then they should just get off the show. I'm sure fans wouldn't have a problem saying goodbye to him. You know what I'm saying? Just saying. When it comes to the stuff with the catfish, and I kind of glossed over the stuff that she had talked about with Meri. But in the last couple Patreons, she's been talking about how people don't really understand why Meri's gotten such a bad rap, and that why has she been shunned by everyone. And she believes that Meri's the one that should be shunned, and it's the right choice that everyone shuns her. And that her mom doesn't like Meri partially because of what Meri did to the kids. So my underlying question here is that if something so horrible happened with Meri, if there was something that was so catastrophic that happened between kids and Meri, and it's still under the carpet and they are not talking about it, they're misleading fans about what happened. Or this is just a smear campaign. And I don't know which one it is. Here, I've spoken to plural wives that have left families, and first wives can be brutal. And children that are not claimed by dad can be terribly abused. And first wives are in charge of keeping everyone else in line. They say that's not true on the show, and it doesn't always have to be the first wife that does this, but there's usually a wife that is in charge and who the man trusts to keep everyone in line. And so if Christine wasn't willing to discipline her kids in a way that Kody felt was necessary, he would rely on Meri to implement the discipline, to override Christine. So if Christine didn't want to talk to the kids, or if Christine didn't want to whip the kids, that would fall on Meri. Because if Meri didn't do it, and if Christine didn't do it, then they would get in trouble. It's like a trickle-down effect. It all starts with Kody, though. This system is built on abuse. I mean, please watch my interview with Celia and Anna LeBaron. You will see how badly children are treated in this world. And the wives are playing a game called survival of the fittest, and eat or be eaten. And the kids are the ones that are the victims of all of it. The women are victims, but the children really are the innocent parties in all of this. And so when the children are ones that are getting if they're getting hurt by a sister wife, this show should be honest with their viewers. They should tell us what happened. What did Meri do that created such a division in this family? And if it's Meri that did it, we also need to hold responsibility at the feet of Kody, because Kody is the one who is the God. And his favorite wife is the one that is in charge of keeping everyone else in line. And if favorite wife doesn't like how a kid is being treated and she knows it's going to get her in trouble with dad, she's going to have to institute the discipline. And discipline and fundamentalism is not timeout. It's not taking away privileges. It's corporal punishment. And I would guess that Christine did not want to implement that in her home. My gut feeling is that Christine was against it, maybe, and that she didn't like it, or she didn't feel it was necessary. But it wasn't her choice as the third wife to decide what was going to be implemented in every home. It's Kody's decision. And if Kody can't trust Christine to properly discipline her kids, he'll bring in an enforcer to do it. And so he doesn't dirty his hands by disciplining the kids, then that falls on Meri. But Kody did discipline the kids. So I think what fans react to with the Meri situation and Mykelti isn't that she didn't do something. It's that your dad did too. Why are you so forgiving for your father, but you're not forgiving for her? And I'm not telling anyone that they need to forgive someone that's physically assaulted them or abused them. You don't have to. Nobody has to. I think people just don't understand that philosophy. And all I can say is that because the men are always protected in this groups and it's always the women's fault. And if something did happen, they need to stop the games of alluding to something having happened. They need to stop with this, I just don't want her around my kids. I'm never going to trust her, blah, blah, blah. That's a really harsh thing to say about someone. And if you're that concerned about somebody's safety, something had to have happened. And if something happened like that and you're not telling people because it will harm the show and the show could get canceled, that's kind of a secret that fans would forgive Mykelti for protecting, but would not forgive the adults for concealing. Especially if something was happening to the kids that was left on the cutting room floor. They would also not forgive producers if producers saw things that they didn't let people see. Because then it just further proves that this whole show was a scam and they were really misleading audiences. And my heart goes out to Mykelti and any victim in this culture. But if Meri did something, they need to stop concealing it. Or else they need to stop talking about it. You know what I mean? I believe something happened. But this whole not talking about it because they don't want the show to get canceled is really, really toxic. And that's just my 2 cents. So Christine and Meri's feud is revealed. Robyn hates the show and Kody controls production. Tell me what your thoughts are in the comments below. Bye, guys.